This is going to be your guide to using Mamoswine in Pokemon UNITE. So let's get straight into the build, where at the very least, this is the 100% pick on Mamoswine, and that is because of the passive. So if you watch my other guides, we're kind of going out of order. That's because Mamoswine is a weird Pokemon, but thick fat as a tank is absurd. Every time the Pokemon deals damage, defense and special defense are increased, and then a lot of shenanigans about like how the ice moves work, and if a freezing effect lands inside an ally goal zone, decreases the goal scoring speed of opposing Pokemon inside that goal zone. So that's actually some pretty crazy stuff. We're going to get into that on the moveset, but the build, like, that's why you want the Aos cookie, because as you score, as you get more hit points, you're just getting more effectiveness from that health because of the defenses. So you bake in defenses, which actually makes other defensive items, or like other defensive stats, less valuable, and therefore hit points is just like the best stat in Pokemon Unite. I've been talking about like a lot of weird theory and math and stuff like that for Unite, and that's pretty much the conclusion. Hit points is the best stat, which also brings us to Buddy Barrier. This should be one of the first items you are putting at level 30 when you get your super item enhancers. Just a flat 600 health throughout the game, and Mamoswine's going to be in there. Mamoswine's going to be fighting. It wants to have that shield for itself, and it can use its ult to save an ally, give them shield, get a dive buddy, go and win every team fight. But the third item is where things start to get weird, and before we talk about third item theory on Mamoswine, we have to look at these stats, because at level 15, only 325 attack. Now, you do have a fat amount of defense, fat amount of special defense, crazy amounts of hit points. I mean, like, even at different stages of the game, we can see still a pretty beefy boy, and then the thick fat ability also scaling with your level. So, I mean, like, 6 times level -1. You get to level 10, and then you're getting, like, 80 per times 3, so 240 defenses at level 10. Your full stack is effectively doubling your defenses and then giving you crazy amounts of value inside of that. Let's pull out the damage chart. Math. Shenanigans. So we can see that for the most part, defenses are linear, but they do taper off at the end, that as you have like a crazy amount of defenses, getting more isn't as effective as having less defenses and then getting the same flat amount. But I mean, Mamoswine's going to have like 30% damage reduction and then go into 35, or not 30%, yeah, actually 30%, and then go to 45% damage reduction, and then close to like 50% probably. So it's getting good amounts of resilience, which just means that flat health is going to be ridiculous on the Pokemon. Then we can look at the scaling values as well. 3 hits on the Ice Shard, 62% attack. So pretty much like 200% attack on Ice Shard. So it's like Meteor Mash, but over a duration of time, and then it slows, and then that sets up in like other crazy things on your passive. We'll get into the thicker part of the moveset, but I just want to show like Mamoswine's base attack is surprisingly low, and that's why I don't think you want to run the weakness policy on it. Because you're thinking like, yo, Mamoswine, it's going to be in there fighting, as it's taking damage, as it's dealing damage, it's getting all kinds of effects. But getting 3% for 4 stacks to 12% attack on the weakness policy gives you pretty much nothing, because your base attack is so low. So we can see that Mamoswine's attack scaling is high, so putting raw attack into Mamoswine is going to give you better returns. But even like the hit points on weakness policy doesn't really matter as much as like other items. So at my first thought was like, yo, weakness policy is crazy, but Razor Claw just straight up gives you more damage, so that's a consideration. Focus Band. On a tank Pokemon, especially if you're stacking health, if you get tons of scores, if you have the Buddy Barrier, Focus Band is just going to give you value. You're not getting a lot of defensive value out of the Focus Band because of your passive, because of your scaling, but just having the extra 2,000 health, 3,000 health in some situations in a fight as that Focus Band ticks down, because you become unkillable. Like, one thing I learned when trying to find a held item for Mamoswine, or also a third pick item, is that, like, you just don't die inside of fights. Like, your team is going to die before, like, you die because you're a tank, which makes sense, but you're a very tanky tank Pokemon, and then you're just kind of like using abilities and not getting much done on your own. But Mamoswine's usually the last one standing, even on a really bad team fight. So Focus Band, it just lets you do that better, or maybe it like prevents some kind of crazy burst in the clutch on that like first tick of healing. Then they have no cooldown, so you get the other ticks on the Focus Band. It's weird. So that's why it's like, what do you do for the last item when you kind of like look at all these other ideas? I'm saying attack weight. Attack weight on the Mamoswine was the most was like the best Mamoswine felt when I was experimenting with Mamoswine, and also stacks with Aeva's Cookie. You're going to be looking for scores. Don't int scores. Please don't overcommit to scores, especially in the early game. Only take the guaranteed scores that you can. We also have like crowd control and stuff. So I mean, if you get one score, not only are you snowballing Aeva's Cookie, you're also snowballing attack weight, which makes it easier to get the second score. By then, the third score is free, and you're looking at 3 to 4 scores around the time Dreadnought, and at that point, you're just getting crazy amounts of stats that work into your other stats. So when a Pokemon bakes in defenses as hard as Mamoswine, raw hit points is going to be good, and when it has low attack like the Mamoswine, adding flat attack is also going to give you more effective value, because yeah, like we can also go to items. We can just put weakness policy on paper, you know, buff stacks 4 times. Got it. Go back to Mamoswine, and we can see it's like 12% of 167. That's nothing. Even with the flat attack off the weakness policy, like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't scale as good. So if you get 2 or 3 scores on the attack weight, you're pretty much going to be keeping up with weakness policy and then just going ahead of it. So that's where the value comes in. And I think that's going to be it for the build, or at least the items on Mamoswine, where I'm saying attack weight first, and if you like the Razor Claw, that works. We're going to now go into the held items, or not the held items, the battle items, because that's where Mamoswine also gets kind of spicy. I was experimenting with some held items. Well, your attack is so low that X attack doesn't really do too much, but you do have the scaling, but it's like, okay, you're getting 20% attack, and then like the damage numbers, it kind of doesn't really add up. But if you do have like the ultimate Giga pop-off combo with like a 5 stacked attack weight, and then you land all of your abilities and then get a full Unite move, maybe X attack makes the difference there. So if you're not finding like my recommendations, because I think that Slow Smoke somehow is the best item on Mamoswine because of the way that the ability works, and like your rotations and your tanking ability and all of that fun stuff, like it's just successful. Because, like, Mamoswine's third auto attack passive is a micro stun. It's like a quarter-second freeze. But then if you land all of your ice shards, that's another freeze. And then if you go for, like, your other abilities, that's just tons of crowd control. So pretty much what you want to do is, like, in between your opponent being permafrozen, you use Slow Smoke to keep them into the next auto attacks. Like, Slow Smoke into auto attacks leads to another freeze. So it, like, buys you hard crowd control while also being pretty good slow in an AoE to also, like, deter people, makes it harder for people to come in. If Zeraora, Talonflame, or Lucario, like, engage into your team and you have the Slow Smoke down, it just offsets them a little bit. Or if you dive onto a Cinderace, if you catch out one of their backline Pokemon, drop the Slow Smoke, it just makes it harder for the opponents to do things, and I think that's more value than anything else that Mamoswine gets. As you're a tank Pokemon and just like stomping around, crowd control didn't matter. Like, I was able to do whatever I wanted, however I wanted on the Mamoswine, so full heal doesn't seem necessary. Eject button, you get in there, you want to stay in there, and you're crowd controlling people so hard that you don't need to like flash to stick onto another target. So there's that. Fluffy Tail doesn't matter, X speed is bad. And Potion. So it's like Mamoswine is so strange in the items it can run, its base stat scaling, its passive stat bonuses, and all the, like, everything about Mamoswine is so weird that it actually, like, breaks the paradigm of held items to where I think Potion is super viable. Now, I would put, so I have attack weight, Razor Claw, and then Focus Band, my third recommendation for the third slot item on the Mamoswine. I just don't think Focus Band's like that crazy on the Mamoswine, especially when it goes on cooldown. It's like Potion makes it to where you have half of a Focus Band on a shorter cooldown. So like if they have Focus Band up and then they pop it, but you use Potion to survive, well, in the next fight you're gonna have Potion, they don't have Focus Band, you have an advantage for that, and then you just take the kill or use that pressure to score, get ahead of them, and then you're just gonna be staying ahead. Potion's really good because you're so tanky. As you're landing abilities, you're getting tankier. So when they burn all their cooldowns, you might be at kind of low health, so they're going to be finishing off with auto attacks or like stray cooldowns from other Pokemon. Use Potion, and that just buys you a couple of seconds. Like, that buys you a lot of time on the Potion to give you into another ability rotation, and that's, like, Mamoswine's just a weird Pokemon in that way, but it's a strong Pokemon. So that's mean, like, Slow Smoke to make your just Disruption way more potent, Potion to give you that healing, and if you don't feel those work, maybe X attack, really only on the attack weight, but X attack, like, the numbers don't make sense, but they also make sense at the same time, and it's kind of weird. So now let's get into the moveset. I'm recommending Icicle Crash over Ice Fang, and that's also why I don't like Flash. Like, yeah, the idea of flashing or like eject buttoning onto the back line, Ice Fanging them, and then throwing them into the opposite side of the fight, that's cool, but Ice Fang just sucks as a move. It's not as good. Like, it does have a lot of crowd control, but the reason why Slowbro isn't viable is because Amnesia, even though it holds someone down, it's not contributing enough to the fight. Right now, the game is in a pretty bursty, bruisery state. Like, you want to do damage. You just want to, like, wreck people. And Icicle Crash is also hard crowd control. So Icicle Crash is a disgusting amount of damage. So you get 3 instances of small Icicles for over 100% attack scaling, so 1.2 times your attack. The large Icicle, when it breaks, does more damage. And if you shatter it, which is why I'm recommending high horsepower over Earthquake, because the shatter is a lot more reliable, then you're actually getting even more damage. So Mamoswine's attack scaling is where it gets kind of spooky on this Pokemon, because now we're talking about 260% on the attack. And then high horsepower is also crazy, because Frozen Stomp bonus on top of the Stomp on top of the Charge is another over 200%. So we're over 500% attack scaling inside of our combo, and that's why the X attack makes it kind of weird, because then we're getting an extra 20%, like we're getting an extra auto attack inside of that, pretty much. And with the attack weight, that's like 400 damage added into already a lot of damage. And then the Mammoth Mash, first stomp is 153, mini stomps is another 200, and then the final stomp is 200. So Mamoswine's total combo scaling is like 11 times its attack value. So if you're, you know, at some point in the game where you're like randomly at 200 attack, you get another 90 attack from a fully stacked attack weight, or even like 50 attack from a half stack attack weight. Yeah, I guess if you have like 3 plus the base on it. So 3 stacks get you to 50 attack. That's 500 extra damage inside of a fight, on top of the base damage you're putting out. So then using X attack to convert a bit more on top of that, I don't think it makes a difference. Like, I haven't been like, oh man, the burst just wasn't there. But if you actually like full combo someone, X attack will make it feel a lot bursty and make it easier for your non-tank teammates that should be doing all the damage to follow up. But I'm just thinking, like, Slow Smoke, it helps in lane. Potion also makes it to where you can just kind of int a little harder and get away with it and maybe find a steal or a secure or push pressure into a score. So yeah, Mamoswine's kind of weird on that. And the high horsepower, it's all about comboing. Like, it feels weird initially, but the reason I don't like the Earthquake is that the Earthquake is just too slow. Like, it's a big jump. It's like, whoa, a tank Pokemon getting that much mobility? Sounds pretty filthy. Like, that should be really nice, right? And then, like, then just takes so long to get in there, so long to wind up. It does have a pull attached. And if you land Earthquake, it's a very long stun. Like, it holds people down. But I think if you're just comboing Ice Crash into high horsepower, it's doing way better. Icicle Crash and Earthquake, I didn't get a lot of time on. So maybe if you really want Earthquake to be, like, if you want it to be viable, you want that to be the best one, you don't want to be wrong, then try Earthquake Icicle Crash. But if it doesn't work for you, high horsepower Icicle Crash just is the combo. You set up Icicle Crash on them, you high horsepower into it, they get carried, they get stunned. It's like 3 seconds of CC with hard pushback, and then, as we saw, like 500% scaling. Plus, actually, absurd base damage. We didn't talk about how absurd that base damage is, where it's like, oh, 255, 140, 170, and then all of these instances. So, like, they're just taking half their health. Like, that is one thing I've noticed. Like, I caught a Talonflame, and he lost 3/4 just from those abilities before I even used my Unite move. So, yeah, like, any non-heavy tank Pokemon is losing half their health to that combo. And if you hit more than one person in a fight, that's just an instantly one team fight, pretty much. Alright, so practice tool time. I don't really feel like explaining Tackle and Ice Shard is going to do too much. I'm going to cut to some gameplay when we're done explaining the abilities. Then you'll, like, understand how it works. Really, the only thing I want to explain is Tackle can go through walls. So that's just good to know, just in case you're like, does it? I don't remember. What happens? Just know that it can, and then you can use that to, like, I'm not saying set up for ganks. I don't think Jungle Mamoswine is that viable. It's just a strong laner. It's like, it competes with Snorlax. Maybe Snorlax is, like, slightly better in laning, but I think that Mamoswine actually scales better into the late game than Snorlax because of the amount of crowd control and damage that it puts out. So let's go and put some levels into this bad boy so I can explain things. Icicle Crash first, high horsepower, and yeah, you just kind of let the game play itself to where, like, you go into that, you set up the targeting, it breaks, it stuns, they're stunned forever, you get the empowered attack, that's another stun, and it's just stupid. So you hit that on multiple people, and then a Zero Aura jumps in, or Talonflame flies, or Lucario Extreme Speeds through it. They can't do anything about it, and then they're just wiped out. So the opportunities that sets up for the team is what makes the move so good. Also, high horsepower, like if you're on a weird cooldown rotation, you can still use it to scoop people. It's like having the Garchomp. Now, it is slower, and that was like one of the things when I first played high horsepower. I'm like, is this actually the right move? It feels kind of clunky, but Earthquake feels about as clunky, and high horsepower does have like that Icicle Crash combo, where it's like you tear down the Icicle Crash, it leaves a little slow field. It has like just such good follow-up and damage. Really, the only thing is like using it properly, and I think it comes down to like feel or how you've been casting abilities as is, because as a melee Pokemon, you want to get in there and duel people, so like having closest lock on is pretty good, but it also plays like Cramorant. So if you've been playing Cramorant, it's effectively the same thing. You have that for the Hurricane, where you throw that out there and it puts a circle somewhere, and if you put it in the right spot, they're just hard crowd control, and then you have this like the Surf. So it's really easy to use the line targeting, because it doesn't matter which Pokemon is where and what targeting I have. I can just snap it to the angle that I want, or I can like just kind of load it and already have it facing where I want to go. So like aiming the high horsepower isn't hard. Aiming the Icicle Crash is tricky, and there is skill cap here, and that's why people might like the Ice Shard first initially. It's a lot more low skill cap, and it's newer player friendly, but if you actually master into like, okay, this is like playing Cramorant. You know, if a Pokemon's over here and it snaps to them because they're lower health, but you want to hit this target over here or something weird, it's like, yeah, you just have to know that's going to take a half second to like get it where you want, and then perfect targeting is going to make or break the team fight. But it definitely pays out, and you're a tank Pokemon, so you can take a little bit of extra time, make sure you put it in the right spot, and then you get in there, and then you're just winning fights. After that, you are going to be like dueling people. You are just going to be like sticking around. Maybe you KO this target and you like walk on over to another target inside the fight. And that's kind of when I feel that I want closest more than lowest hit point remaining value. So you might need to like play around with this. But I like the value over percent, because if there's a squishy Pokemon, you want to get on them and pretty much one-shot them. But you're also kind of initiating from a distance. So like closest is fine. Like if the team fight's over here and Cinderace is outside of my range anyways, I just want to like set it up and like get that team fight going. Also, don't try to overpredict yourself like that high horsepower miss. Like sometimes it's just automatic. You just let the game play itself, and then you do that on 3 people and the game's over. So that's that. The ability is kind of weird. Just gotta get a feel for it. Again, if you're already playing Cramorant, then you're just going to love Mamoswine. You might like after the Cramorant nerf, I don't know. Like Mamoswine's good. Like you'll be good on Mamoswine because it's effectively the same targeting. And then the Unite move is kind of weird, because like you use it, and you actually need a target to use it, or you move it. So it's kind of like Mr. Mimes. Mr. Mime just won't let you set it on yourself, but if you just move it a little bit, then it'll go off, and then you get to charge around, do some damage. Not as difficult as Garchomp's, but the same kind of unreliability, to where it's like you're just going to like charge around. Sometimes you hit everyone. If everyone's already crowd controlled, you're good, and then the last hit is going to knock people up. So at the very least, if like people are running around the fight, or like everyone's getting scattered or weird stuff is happening, then that's where you just want to like use the Unite move and make sure that last one is where you're getting your target and does a lot of damage. So the brain dead combo, like the champion plays itself. It's actually a very simple Pokemon that does a lot of crazy stuff, but does need to be like get perfect casting on to be really good. And if you just kind of open that up, yeah, you're good to go. That's kind of it. So let's get to the gameplay, and then that's it for the Mamoswine guide. If you enjoy the video, leave a like, share, all that fun stuff. Okay. Oh, wow. Wait. I was about to say, is Score Shield actually getting canceled? Alright. Oh. Well, that's a flash. Whatever. Oh, they cheesing. I missed. I'm bad. Alright. They have no flash. I mean, that's just a steal. So we're getting all of our shit back. Okay. I tried to, like, leash that or lead it on a leash, but that's fine. What I like about this is that I can actually... Homie. He doesn't have flash. So that's like the freest kill on a Cramorant ever. And then that's the freeze kill on them. And that's a knock, and that's a freeze. So fat. God, we just gotta beat it! Yeah, they blew their flashes on that. Good job. Good job, team. Congratulations on Score Shield. I'm glad. I'm glad you guys could actually do something about that. And that's why Score Shield is a trash item. Or the trash strategy. That experience in the early game, guys. Look at him. Look at him go. Yo, an extra point. Let's get it. Oh, I fell asleep. No. I'm inting. I just want the score. Yeah. Watch this. I'm out. Now we have 3 stacks. That's insane. Ooh, yeah, that's right, Cram. All right, I'm leaving my homie to die, which is very bad. But we turn it around. We turning it around. Let's go. All right, we gank this and then we immediately run to Dreadnought, and now we're at 4 stacks. It's harder to use, kind of like Crammer. That's another thing about Crammer. People are like, yo, don't use Hurricane. It's hard to land. Nah, if you're good, it's not. Oh. I want to scoop! Oh, okay. Wait, what happened here? Damn, dude, Nick is good. Yeet. Alright, I have hope. Easy clear. Alright, let's see what we can do. I'm just gonna just go for a kill. I guess not. Oh. Get it! I need that one. Please don't take it, Kevo. You know I'm run scaling items. There we go. Give yourself up for the good of the team. Alright. I don't know if we got Steel inside there, or if Swinub is supposed to be like Giga Bully, but it seemed to have some work to it. I didn't try to steal that. That's just the game. Nice. We ahead. It's working. That was a Snorlax lane too. You should be getting kills on Snorlax lane, right? Oh, he almost got messed up. Oh, that's messed up. He's dead. Alright, yeah, that's bully. Alright. Oh, I guess we did get a secure. Yeah, he's only level 3. Interesting. Have I already solved this Pokemon just through sheer game sense? Ooh. Ah, I missed that. Wait, actually... Okay. You don't duel. You don't duel too well. But I mean, we're still hurting them. Like, we just take our little advantages and leave, and then we're fine. I need to evolve. I like Icicle Crash. Okay, I bursted that thing. Alright, let's get it. Yeah, so it's easy. Okay, his focus band is down. So, like, you kind of have to use Icicle Crash like Cramorant's Hurricane. Ooh. I'm out. Nice stun. I got it. He got. Good secure, though. Metallic is just straight bullying. Yeah, this is gonna be tricky ability usage. Unless I just get a double kill. So yeah, you can't miss it. Oh wait, this is my time to score 1,000,000 points and get fully stacked on health and attack item. It's kind of weird. Oh, and if they just group up. Okay, if they just group up, it's free. Maybe that's the problem. I'm trying to engage. But you don't engage, you just let them clump up and then find the freest Icicle Crash. So you play like Pseudocaster in the midline, and then you mess them up. How is this a ranked game? Yeah, and then like as you go in, that's when you want to use your slow smoke. Slow smoke needs to last longer for real. Oh, what if you push them away? Like you're just alive in the team fight for so long that happened. Oh no, poor Ninetales. They just really aren't allowed to play Pokemon Unite. That's my final score. I think I needed that. Oh, I have Buddy Bear. What is this? What is happening? Oh man, that would have been great to score 100 through Crustle, but we all popped too fast. That's fine. Late game Rotom pushes like that are kind of spicy. But you only get one. Unless you can take, like, I wonder what the viability of breaking. I guess we're all just vibing, huh? Oh, catch him in the choke. Where they go? Where do go? Metallic's just not allowed to back. Yeah, it's kind of weird to be pondering this so late into Pokemon Unite. We don't have our damage here. They're also coming back up super fast, and we have like Giga Infinity Death Timers, but alright, maybe not. And the Mamoswine secures it. Big brain Icicle, dude.
You're on fire.
Yeah, sometimes like that just does not cast where you want it to cast. Whatever, I'll just be tanky, right? Am I tanky? Nah. I shouldn't have tried to fight them. Oh well, we still win-win. So yeah, lining up the Icicle Crash is tricky. But if you just have patience, if you just take the extra like 0.2 seconds, make sure the Icicle Crash gets in the exact right spot, I think you're okay.